Hello everybody, welcome to another Monday, specifically another Monday Miniatures Ramble with me, Dakian. This one is for Monday the 6th of March 2017, and I painted a bunch of minis. Let's see here what we've got. First of all, we finished the last two of the Scourge of Suderham, the pirates. This one is a very flamboyant pirate with a very bright clothing and shield, but you know, he's a captain, even an admiral perhaps, a leader of ships. He doesn't need to be camouflaged especially. Here we have the High Priest of the Earth Dragon cult. Brown robes are difficult to paint in a way that looks interesting, unfortunately. But, you know, I try to add splashes of color in the red and the gold and the purple and these green flames or something that he's pulling forth. I'm not sure exactly what it is. This one still looks a bit glossy, but yeah, it takes a while for the varnish to dry. It's the satin varnish. But you know, having a bit of sheen to his clothing. I mean, he's got nice clothes. They might be of a material that has a bit of shine. Who knows? We have the two Elementalists. They were fun figures. They were fun figures to paint. They not the most terrific sculpts. I like the poses and the ideas of them. The technical execution of the sculpting was not the of the top quality. It's okay. And to be self-critical, my freehanding of the sort of fire pattern on her dress is perhaps not amazing either, but I think it works okay. And finally, well, not finally, I have one more mini to show you afterwards, but in regards to the somewhat human-sized figures, we have the Packmaster of Katapesh, who also is in slightly shiny robes, and a mask, and yeah, not a whole lot to say about him actually. But I said I had one more mini to show you. These were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minis. I have a 6th one. Let's cut the tape. And here is the Buggeroth. The turned out pretty red. You can't really see much of the purple base tone except in the shading in the recesses. But you know, again, and I'm a little worried that you can't really see the eyes much, but you know, they're pretty hidden by the sculpt. I could have made them pop a bit more, you know, but with lighter colors, but it could have looked weird. Could have made them look like googly eyes. Didn't want that. And overall, this is a big scary demon thing. So yeah, mission accomplished. Let's have a look at what's in progress. And here we have the stuff I'm still plugging away at. You can see the drum kit is simply base coated and shaded. I'm gonna start highlighting it up soon. The orcs have had a little bit more work done on their skins. At present, the shadows are cold. Like the skin is green and the shading is actually blue, a very, very dark blue. It's dark sea blue from Vallejo. I'm thinking of adding some warm tones as well because it doesn't look fully natural. I mean, it's going to be skin. Skin can't be completely cold. It needs to have a little bit of warmth to it. So we'll see what I do. And start painting some little bits to put on the base. We have a skull here and some candles. Here's some more candles. What else have I started painting the Mad Max figure? I've got a different route here. Normally I paint as we say, from the inside out, from skin out. This time I've instead gone for the strategy of painting the biggest areas first, and the thing that covers the most area is his black leather. And I've simply coated it black right now. It's a base coat black. I'm trying to decide, because when you look at stills of Mad Max, there's two different kinds. There's the promotional stills where his leather looks shiny and new and it has a very distinct blue highlights. However, if you look at actual production stills from the film, from Road Warrior, is the one I'm referencing mostly, it's really dusty. It's a worn, faded. It's more of a brownish, grayish kind of highlights, and it's covered in dirt. Of course, I'm not going to simulate that. So yeah, I think I'm going more in that direction. And yeah, so you see, not a lot of different projects on the move right now, but there's a lot of different figures involved in one of them. Let's see if I can put some more stuff on the table. Okay, enough with all these humans and humanoids already. Let's paint some real monsters. So I picked out 3 big creatures from Reaper, all of them. This first one is the Ankeg, classical D&D monster. It's upside down, so you can't really see it. It's kind of a burrowing insect thing. Has a lot of legs that you can't see here. The Stone Lurker is not a classical name, but if you look at it, you'll find that this actually is a Roper, which is a classical D&D monster. Why they could use the name Ankeg, which everybody knows is from D&D, but they couldn't use the name Roper, I don't know. It's just confusing to me. But anyway, this also has some, well, it's not actually legs, it's tentacles. And finally, the Jabberwock, which this is from the Pathfinder line. I think it exists as a monster in the Pathfinder game. I think I've seen some version of it in some D&D book as well. This is not a classical monster per se, as in it's not a medieval monster. It's, you know, but it's not originally made up for D&D either. The Jabberwock is, of course, from Lewis Carroll's poem Jabberwocky. Nobody knows what a Jabberwock is actually supposed to look like, but this thing is a kind of semi-dragonish like thing with wings. You'll see when it's assembled. It's a big heavy lump of metal anyway. And it's a lot of pieces, so we'll have to see. I actually looked it up on the site. This thing is pretty expensive if you buy it new. I seem to recall I got this on a sale, so I think I got it for like half off or something. But anyway, these are what I want to prep for next week. Check back then to see how it goes. This week's unboxing is yet another Kickstarter. Let's see if I can show you what's in this box. Well, I can shake it out. It's a lot of individually packaged minis in baggies and tissue paper. So it's securely packaged for transportation anyway, if somewhat amateurish. They didn't have access to professional production means, apparently, and here we have the name of the miniature. I'm gonna unwrap these. I've unwrapped one of them previously and put it back. But what the heck, I'll unbox all of them for you, just so you can see what they look like. Well, now I've unpacked them all and laid them out on their plastic baggies for you to see. So you can see that they're all resin cast minis in a lot of pieces. And we'll come back to that. So what is this? And why hasn't, if you're really sharp-eyed, you'll have noticed that the number of miniatures purchased has not increased. This is because this is a really old Kickstarter. This is one of the ones that were included in my total when I first backed it, like a couple of years ago. This is from Arcane Factories, and it is the most delayed miniatures Kickstarter I've received, and that's of the ones that I'm going to receive. Like I've not counted. there was one that was simply a scam from a company that wanted to do some Ice Age miniatures, some Ice Age mammals. I forget the name of the company. They just took the money and ran, and I am out quite a sum for that. But this one, of the ones that have delivered or that I expect will deliver, this is the most delayed one. And let's see if I can show you. Is this in focus? No. Here we go. We have a miniature here, which is the Dragon Monk. He's in 3 pieces because his fists are supposed to be in the shape of dragons. These are his arms and fists, and they attach to the sides here. Simple enough. This is probably the simplest piece out of all the ones that I've gotten. Now, why was this product so delayed? Well, partially because I think the people behind it didn't realize what production of miniatures entails. They seem to have knowledge of sculpting, but not much else. And so they were continuously during the project confused by the issue of trying to transfer sculpts into actual physical minis. And it shows because look at how many pieces these are cut up in. A good sculptor would not make up something like this. This is completely 3D generated. It's just sort of theoretically sculpted, and then they had to try to make it into something they could actually cast, mold and cast. And this figure is Jing, it's called. This is probably the most difficult to assemble because just looking at it, I have no freaking clue what goes what goes where. This is like one leg and part of a body. This is this the other leg? No, this is a part of the body and an arm. This is the other leg, this is the other arm, and oops, there was the head. But how they go together, I'm gonna have to look at the concept art on the web, on their Kickstarter page, to try to figure this one out. And anyway, I don't normally care about delays. But the thing is, this was not just delayed, it was also, they did a change of material because they advertised this as being white metal. Well, I'm not sure if they said white metal, but they were going to cast them in metal. And very late in the process, they said, sorry, that's not going to work, we're going to have to do it in resin instead. And looking at the way these are cut up, I can see why. You could not, I mean, casting metal in these little tiny arms and hands and whatnot would not have worked. So I can understand that. However, I'm kind of annoyed at the spin they tried to put on it. They used the phrase that, oh, we were changing them to resin instead and we're giving you better quality for the same price. Like resin is always better quality. I'm sorry. Do you think I'm stupid? Do you think I'm new to this? Sure, sometimes resin, if it's high quality resin, it will hold more detail than metal, and it will provide smoother surfaces. Which is good if you're display painting. But this is not the highest quality resin. Look, I have master castings from Hassle-Free. I know what good quality resin looks like. Now this is not fine cast crap. It's not that bad. But this is not top-notch resin casting. It's full of flashing. It's full of mold lines. this is perhaps not the worst example, but there's quite a lot of flashing here, for example. And in general, let's see if we can find... in general, it's going to take quite a lot of cleanup, and because it's resin, it's not going to be as durable as metal. I mean, I don't display paint. I paint for the tabletop. I want to be able to use minis in gaming, and I don't want the fragility of resin. So I'm quite annoyed at this switcheroo. But, you know, caveat emptor, let the buyer beware, is the rule in Kickstarters, and I have learned to beware this company. I'm never going to buy anything from them again. Again, their name was Arcane Factories. You know, they did deliver, eventually, the minis. And this one, I don't know how it goes together either. I mean, there's a ton of pieces. There's a couple of legs. There seems to be... This lump is probably supposed to be a rocky scenic base. It's not very attractive looking, but it's probably necessary for the pose, because there's one knee up. Probably on this thing. Yeah. I mean, look at the amount of flashing on this. Horrible. This is one of the simpler ones. It's simply two arms that need to be attached. But... and yeah, this is pretty smooth. So this was one of the better ones. What was the one that I was really not... For example, look at this thing, the mold line there. And what was... This thing just looks weird. I don't want to harp on this, but... I mean, yeah, parts of it, the larger portions of this look good. But they all have issues, and here's some... What's this? This is some sort of artifacting. It's like a reverse mold line where there's actually an indentation line into the sculpt instead of a mold line sticking out. And well, like this, the back of the skirt here. What is this crap? This is not good resin molding. Casting. Well, the molding might be good, but the casting is horrible. So, yeah, sorry to end this episode on a downer. I just wanted to show you what I got here. I'm going to put these away in their baggies, and I don't know if I'll ever get around to painting these. You know, I don't feel any enthusiasm for them, these models. You know, if I run out of fun stuff to paint, I'll force myself to paint this just because I did pay for it and wait for it for a long time. But anyway, that was the show for this week. I hope you learned something, or at least found some schadenfreude in my disappointment with these miniatures. I'll see you again next week. Until then, I'm Dakian, and I'm signing off.